Thami Ngubeni brings you the latest insights on Africa's economy.
We turn our focus now to Angola, where Angolan citizens have, over the past week, filled the streets of Luanda in order to protest against the rising fuel and transportation prices. Now, the protest followed an announcement by the government to raise diesel prices from 300 to 400 Angolan Kwanzas. That's from 40 US cents to 44 US cents per litre. The citizens say Angolan government is mismanaging resources, while the majority continue to struggle with poverty, hunger and malnutrition. Joining us this afternoon is the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, UNITA's National Secretary for Communications and Marketing, Evaldo Evangelist. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Africa in Business.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to everyone listening to us at this specific moment.
And so we have seen this increase of prices from 40 US cents to 44 US cents per litre. What are the reasons that have been given by the government for its decision to raise the price of fuel?
Along the years, the government has been subsidizing the fuel prices to keep them low. But recently, the government has decided to slowly take over take away the subsidies on the prices. So that whole process, it has been done in such a way that the public hasn't been informed on exactly how it's going to work, and mostly on what the benefits will be to the public. And since the first I think around about last year, the subsidies were removed. A percentage of subsidies were removed, but the problem is that people haven't really been feeling any sort of change or improvement in their lives. So this has taken to a point where it happened at a time when people's lives are extremely hard to handle in terms of economy. And your normal fees, like there's also a percentage on the school fees going up for 20%, and all this coming at once has sort of got people revolt against the government.
Help us make sense of this. Angola is an oil-rich country. Why is this not adding up? Why are Angolans not benefiting from their natural resources?
That's because the country's the public funds management hasn't been done in a clear form, and as you know, corruption has really go to a very, very high level in Angola. So people have lost trust in government. That's where the main problem is, and we also don't have working refineries in Angola. So basically, we export crude oil, and then have to buy back the final product to be consumed here. So that's where the main problem is.
And talking
but corruption is obviously the main.
And talking about exports, 95% of the fuel in Angola is exported. The government at the moment also has 70% of government revenue coming from fuel itself.
Exactly.
But how was this allowed to go on for so long?
Yes, this is when you have when you've been for quite a while a one-party system, it gets to a point where every institutions and all that are made or are done according to a specific political party's point of view. And because we've been having democracy since 1992, but from there we also went through a civil war for quite a while. It ended in 2002. So basically, what happens is the government controls everything. We have a system which could be considered, with all the inverted commas, it could be considered a dictatorship system in Angola. So basically, the government decides, and everybody just has to follow. When people try to protest against that, people are some of them are arrested, and in some cases, which happened in the past, people get killed as well.
We're seeing now Angolans taking to the streets, protesting The rise of inflation, the rising fuel costs will obviously impact their daily lives, and affordability will be impacted. But can the citizens realistically absorb these costs without targeted government support? And does there seem to be movement from the government in order to try and buffer the ordinary Angolan?
I guess that's where the main problem is. And this is what took most civil society organizations to call up these street protests, because the civil societies have been calling the government for debates on these matters, but the government hasn't been really keen on listening to them. A lot of proposals are submitted, they've been ignored. So there hasn't been any signs of any sort of movement towards solving the economic situation as it gets worse. Up until today, we still get families running to rubbish bins to try and eat something, and they basically, like, right now, funny enough, as I'm talking to you, there's a family in front of me sitting around the rubbish bin waiting for somebody to go throw the rubbish out so that they can get something to eat. So there hasn't been any movement from the government towards making things better as we speak.
And how long are these protests expected to continue for? Is there an indication?
According to the organizers, because now we're talking about civil society, according to the organizers, the Saturday protest has been basically stopped by the police. We had over 10 people who were wounded with tear gas grenades. And amongst those people, there were also members of parliament from the opposition party. So one of them was injured, but as I spoke to him just a few hours ago, he said he's getting better and is at home. They promised to not stop until they're heard. So we'll wait for them to tell us when will the next ones take place. And now we're only talking about civil societies, yeah?
And I guess also, as you say, waiting to hear what the government will do and how they're going to respond to this. We thank you so much for your insight this afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, UNITA's National Secretary for Communication and Marketing, Evaldo Evangelist. He takes us to exactly 4:48.
Este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África.